I'm Kayla, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about a specific industry and a specific failure for that industry. So, the industry that I would like to focus on is human resources. I believe that there are a lot of notable failures for human resources, like unfinished employee files, a lack of training, and also a lack of trust. But what I specifically want to focus on why it is that employees do not trust their HR leaders. I believe that that is their biggest failure is that lack of trust. So HR leaders do have a tendency to not listen to complaints. A lot of people report things and HR seems to brush it off. I also have read that a lot of employees tend to purposely go out of their way to avoid talking to their HR because they feel like they're not going to listen and it's not going to matter what they say or do. There will be no change and they will not be actually heard or listened to. So I think that another issue is also that there's just no action. There's just no actions taken in general. An article says that one third of workers don't trust their HR, and nearly a third actively avoid going to HR with their problems. 35% of those people that avoid going to HR said it's because they don't trust their HR. 31% said that they fear retaliation, and 23% have experienced hurtful management. These are all clear issues. The point of HR is so employees can feel comfortable coming and speaking to them. So if HR does not have that, then they have nothing because that's their whole point. Yes, there are lots of parts to HR, but I believe that a huge part of HR is listening to what your employees are saying and being able to work with them and fix things and help them along the way. HR is supposed to be there to help. And if HR is not helping, then the employees aren't going to want to talk to them. And that's a huge problem. So I think that the way to combat this failure is HR needs to start taking action. They need to build a culture of trust. And they can do that by actually listening to their employees. Not only listening, but after listening, supporting your employees' needs. It's about listening. It's about taking that action. It's about taking that next step. Because HR can look at their employees up and down and tell them all the time and send notices out and say that they're there for you, that they're going to support you, that they're going to listen to you. But without action, all of those words mean nothing. I believe that another thing that can help is to send out surveys to employees, maybe employee engagement surveys. You can ask some questions about how they believe HR is doing, if they are feeling comfortable, if they have any suggestions, and then for HR to take those, read through all of them, and figure out, okay, so and so and so and so, or maybe they're anonymous, so they don't know who said what. That'd probably actually be better so they can feel more free to talk without feeling like there's going to be any retaliation. And then looking at those and seeing what people said and saying, okay, we're noticing this is a trend and what's wrong. What can we do to implement? What can we do to fix this? How can we work on us and better ourselves as an HR team? I believe that if these things are not done, then employees will just continue to feel uncomfortable. It'll just be a culture of uncomfortability. There will be a distance, it'll be an us versus them mentality. And you don't want that in the workplace because that'll affect communication as a whole. And nobody wants to work in a place that they consistently feel uncomfortable in. So I believe that if you don't work to build this culture of trust, if you don't start listening, if you don't start taking action, it's going to lead to a workplace that nobody wants to be a part of. It can even lead to employees quitting, a high turnover rate, and nobody wants their employees to quit just because of their HR team when their HR team can do all the things that I said earlier to combat that. They're very simple changes if your HR team is willing to put in that work. Overall, I do think that lack of trust is one of the biggest problems, one of the biggest failures of HR. I do believe that a big portion of having an HR team is for people, is for the employees to have a place where they can go and open up. As an HR professional myself, I have had people come up to me and talk about these fears themselves with not really trusting HR and, ooh, HR is scary, they're the bad guys. And I put in the work to make people feel comfortable, to make people feel like they could trust me and like they could come talk to me. And I was able to combat that. And I have people that have then since then come to me with their issues and come to me with their problems and feel like they can freely speak with me. And that's what every HR team needs is for employees to feel comfortable, to feel that they can trust them. So I hope that from now on that there can be a change in HR. I hope that people are seeing that this is a failure and that it is something that needs to be worked on. And hopefully, this can create better HR leaders. Thank you for listening.